Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Daily Roulettes Hangout stream with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. So, new ultimate and all that. I hope some of you are enjoying the race, but maybe some don't care, and some might want a little bit of a break of face plant into towers. Now, that said, hey Taldebar, hey Aerodel, hey Kash, hey Zaf, hey Naomi, hey Jen Monica, hey Merit J. And Beans and Tina Lee and Ilana and Volter and Cheyenne and Elia and Hamster Pants and Silly and Fila and Antigone and Rust and Alice and Crusher and Jet and Vince. Hope you're all doing very well. And Exodia, hope you're all doing very well on this clowny day. And hey Nox and Yannick, hope you're doing well as well. And Helium. And thank you for the thank you for 20 months as part of the Cult of the Pink Agent, Monica. And 26, Naomi. This isn't you mad, Prog? It could be. If you're progging how mad you are, it could be. In a way. And hey Ridleyan, hope you're doing well as well. Best moment was between 14 hour and 16 hour, just saying. Ah, yes. There was a guy in a pink hoodie there. Thank you for the 14 months as part of the Cult of the Pingalana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. That is awesome. Hey, Spam Can. Happy Patch Day. Yeah, that's also true. If you're not an ultimate guy, or girl, or something else, then maybe you're a cosmic exploration kind of person. I haven't really stayed on top of my cosmic exploration since the first part. I finished this step of all of the crafter and gatherer relics, and then I was like, okay, well, now there's other stuff. Jesus, I just reached Heavensward. Am I ready for endgame raiding yet? I mean, you could hop in with I mean, if there are, you know, groups that do old synced content like Syncademy. Hey Mistel, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I also saw some of y'all in the chat during the casting. The thing is, I don't want to steal the time doing that, but I did see you. I also saw Aerodel, I saw Kat, I think I saw Agent Monica. I saw a bunch of people. I also mentioned Mari Kazuka here on the stream. Not by name, but I did mention that I had a lot of fish. Did Kat ever elaborate on what he wanted to say? No, that was what he wanted to say. Nothing. What? Yeah, why do you have a square of fish? Exactly. Let me just go and show you all for those that haven't seen. Hey, Kopamana, hope you're doing well. You casted with the fish guy, that is true. And then we talked about inventory space management, and well, perfect. My Jay says, how long have you all been playing? I technically started at Stormblood launch roughly, and then I took a break and came back just before Shadowbringers, and then I took a break and came back middle Shadowbringers, and well, I'm still playing since then. Okay, so you're gonna do more casting shifts? Yes, but the rest of the week I'm on 4 hours earlier than today. And I'm also matched with others. The thing is, I was supposed to be be in the first squad, but then we realized with maintenance that session didn't exist. So we just got pushed down. And fortunately, that still meant I was on day 1. 4 hours earlier, so like 8 a.m. Well, I mean, yes, 8 GMT plus 0. Altså, Harris, and Daggerfrieden, and Bogage, hope you're doing well. And Dolks, hope you're doing well as well. Nox says I lost my watch streak. Oh. Dang it. Well, at least you won't feel like you have to watch just for that. It looks to be progressing a bit slower than FRU. Yeah, and I also feel like there is at least one mechanic that suggests there's something. Like that there's a puzzle later in the fight. But I guess we'll see. Now, Ilana already asked. So my garden has gotten 2 new brick platforms that look very randomly there. And hey, Bronson, hope you're doing well. And thank you for the 26 months as part of the Call of the Pink. Right, so this was actually, we were talking about if there was a way to more easily identify the groups for things like daily roulette streams. And then Kat came to me with 2 of these platforms. I then colored them so you can tell the difference. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these platforms as the, you know, if you want to come along with me for insert roulette here, come over to me. And then I'll know that you actually want to because you're standing on the brick platform. That means that if you're standing like out, like if you're like a little bit standing back because I like kind of want to join, but then you're not on the platform. This feels too complicated. I'll say position. I'm glad to hear that, position. That's great. Hey, Philippe. Purple group gets sacrificed to Zodiac. There are platforms on the floor. And thank you for the gifted sub, Ross. Thank you. Maybe a meme board to explain it? Are you guys in a free company or rating group? If you're asking me personally, I'm in a static, but that's governed by a link shell. My free company is a small group of friends. Now, to explain Daily Roulettes Hangout stream, what happens here is that there are a whole bunch of dailies in Final Fantasy XIV, as you know. Daily Roulettes even. And what we do... DPS in need for expert? Wow. The way we do it is that I will go through most of these daily roulettes. I will skip MSQ, the guild tests, and mentor and frontline. And we'll start with the 4-man, then the 8-man, and then the alliance raid to finish with. And each time I do a roulette, I'll go over to the platform and be like, if you want to join me for this specific roulette, of course you have to have it unlocked and access to it, come on over to me. And then I'll grab people to fill in the group, and then we do it. And I'll try to cycle people so that everyone gets a go. They all get to play. And usually there are enough people that there will be a group 2. Sometimes there'll be a group 3. But there will probably be a group 2, typically, of the people that didn't get to go. Because I can't bring everyone, even though I wish I could. And thank you for the pride cheer, Ilana. Thank you so much. And apparently it caused a train. A hype train, even. That giant enemy spider's throwing me off so bad. It's very big. I would appreciate when we get to the whole coordination stuff if you're not standing on my brick floor with the giant enemy spider. Because it kind of removed the ability to use it. It was a very cool mount. That one was added today, wasn't it? Bomb rushing an expert dungeon with 10 people sounds hilarious. Oh, yes. Most definitely. Thank you for the additional gifted sub, Rust. Thank you so much. Right then. Let me just switch over like this. And if you would like to join me for Expert Roulette, come on over to me. Right. And then I have to quickly write people before they run away. Right. Might need more platforms. Well, we got 2 because we kind of assumed that usually there are 2 teams, but that's rare. There's 3. But I guess the 3rd one can, you know, just continue down the lane, or maybe Fern will find something. I have gotten all the names. You can start on your next teams if you want. And thank you for the gifted sub, Ilana. And hey, Chloe, hope you're doing well. That's awesome. Congratulations. Well, almost, I guess. I guess congratulations on seeing Heart and Rage. Hey, Dan. Nox, are you ready? Yes. Didn't click yes to the register. Well, I'll take your word for it. And we have... Hey! Caetsu! Yeah, we've started to see that there's some interesting shenanigananery with the scanner on the first boss. The Chaiji. Exactly. And yes, this is the new dungeon. Bronson says, I don't understand the first boss. What is it you don't understand about the first boss, Bronson? And just a big triangle AoE. Oh, right. So what happens there is that he will usually tell you enough information that you can move in good time. Like he'll like lean left, lean right, lean left, maybe a little bit center, and then he'll start to slowly lean in a specific direction, and that's when you dodge. Maybe it's easier when you see it. It feels like tank bait. It is not tank bait.
Appreciate the help. We'll handle things from here. Take care of the Fisher.
ultimately it is just a mechanic where you kind of have to just wait until halfway through the cast before you do anything about it, I feel. It just works. Oh, did that count too, Nox? I think I goofed it there. I dashed while you grabbed me. You should probably have grabbed someone who didn't have it themselves. Yeah, sorry about that. I did know you wanted to test something, but I didn't know you were gonna grab me. Philippe says, I still haven't gotten it with Smudge, don't know why. It's possible that it's a speed thing. I feel like Smudge has a slightly vaguely slower. Angaro says, I just got it with Smudge. Well, there you go. In that case, never mind. I was more so suggesting that it was possible that it wasn't a skill issue. But it doesn't surprise me that it can be done. You may notice that I lean really far back. Or it makes sure that the whole scanner has crossed the, has passed the boss. To do the actual gap closer thing. Whereas jobs with a, just dash forward can sort of just turn around and dash through the thing. Did something like displacement elusive jump work? Yes. It's about moving really quickly through the thing. It's not so much about how you how it looks when you do it. Dan says, have you considered making quick guides for extreme trials after AR? I have considered that. The reason why I haven't is because the extremes after AR cannot be explained in 2 minutes. What generally causes that is that, take Ravana for instance. If you explain it in 2 minutes, you can't explain everything because he has so many distinctly different mechanics. That's a sort of advantage that the older A Realm Reborn extremes don't have. Exactly, Dan. The reason why guides like that are so long, well, to be fair, it's probably most of them are probably from Heavensward, and those are so long because, you know, it was current content. But part of the reason is also simply that all of that information is actually needed. I got a comment on, I believe, the yesterday's mentor roulette. That was basically something to the effect of how can you keep track of all those different liberations? And my response to it was, oh, I don't. I just know what order they go in. And that's ultimately also how it works with all the other extremes, is that they have a lot of stuff going on. And it's just a lot of like, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And that's really hard to make in a quick guide of like 2-3 minutes, maybe 4. Because there's too many things that are necessary, and you'll basically have to choose. You'll basically have to choose what things you determine are easy enough that guide doesn't need to cover it. And I feel like that's a really, really dangerous precedent to set, you know? Like, oh yeah, why didn't you explain this whole mechanic? There's no time. Not because it wasn't important. No, it's important. I didn't have time. It's too short, like no time in the guide, you see? And that's why I haven't tried, Dan. It's because I'm like, I can't. There's too much information. I say lollipop and procrastinauts. Hope you're doing well. And Dead Man. Sea of Snakes extreme. Can toads be crammed into 3 minutes? Sea of Snakes? Hey, Ace Metricon. Hope you're doing well. Extreme guides where you just leave out the last third of the Fight and Hope gear scaling means no one sees. Yeah, that's also something to be said. I actually, technically, to some degree, did that for my speedy A Realm Reborn extreme guides. Is that I was like, if you're synced, then this is how it works. And I might mention that it's like, well, if you're not synced, it might be different. But sometimes certain mechanics were irrelevant because it was synced. Oh yeah, Seiryu is not too bad, but he still has too many mechanics, I feel, to cover in such a short time span. But maybe you could make it work by just ignoring certain mechanics. The first Dawntrail extreme is way more annoying to proc? Wait, why? Why does gear make it more annoying? Is it a case of people don't actually know how to do mechanics after a certain point because they're used to the boss being dead by then? But then that's not actually how it plays out in reality? Oh, you don't see Ice and Lightning consistently? Right. Well, I will say in prog situations, it was pretty normal for that to happen because like you might wipe to ice and wipe to ice and wipe to ice, and then you're like, okay, right, we have an idea. This is what we're gonna do, and then it's lightning for 30 minutes. But I could see how it would be a problem in terms of prog, that you might have a party that is like, actually have it on farm, but half the party can only do it if you get specifically the lightning phase, because they didn't learn the other one. Yeah, and the other half can only do ice. Exactly. We're almost there! Hey! Like buying the P8S dog. You know, that is actually a really funny comparison that I remember when we were farming P8S a while back unsynced, that because of the, you know, the way that it worked out, it was typically a problem if we didn't get the, I believe it was dog that was the easier one. But then we eventually got experienced enough that we could handle snakes. Pull one out for chores. The boy went back to the live stream. Yeah, maybe that's what he wanted. Say Ayako. Silly says I was on the Scorpion tank thing when you guys started and you almost caught up to me before I finished. Well, community is speed. We go fast. Did Team 2 already finish? Both teams are back. Great. And the Dragoon using their artifact weapon isn't? Oh. Error. Right. Let me just do this. Yeah, exactly, Vangaros. The thing that I do when I'm trying to skip the scan, I haven't had that much time to experiment with it yet. But what I do is that I either like the thing that I've been doing is like I actually angle myself like out to a corner so that basically the angle of the boss hitbox that I'm aiming for is like closer into the center, because if you go at a full perpendicular, then like the scanner has to basically leave the arena fully before you can actually pass through with a gap closer. There's also the advantage that most of the gap closers that dash you to the target do that in roughly the same time, regardless of how far away you are. So the further away you are, the faster you snap over to your target, so leaning further back might actually help. It's really weird, but going exactly exactly straight through the scanner if you have something else, like something where you're not targeting the boss, probably helps. Because just does the dash through the scanner work because of the server tick rate? I don't know, but what I've noticed is that if you do it correctly, what typically happens is that you dash through, and the moment your character has passed the square, like the scanner square that goes through, like the exact frame that you pass, the check mark appears, as if what it's checking for is whether you manage to get across or not. Which is really weird. Eliam says the scanner's so weird I attempted Icros through it once and it perma-bound me on the spot until the boss died. Huh? That sounds like a bug. Telemar says, I think it's because the debuff is not applied before the snapshot of the movement ability. That's true. When the scanner touches you, you get a debuff that basically lasts however long it'll take for you to to fully pass over you while you stand still. We'll try and see if longer dashes are more reliable than shorter ones. Which dashes that are not gap closers move you 20 yalms? Hey, why's up? Right then. Ninjas. Oh, yeah. Right. If you would like to join me for level cap dungeons, come on over to me. That's the other level 100 dungeons, just to be clear. Just checking that I didn't miss any names. I have everyone on the list as far as I can see. Fern, do you want a tank or DPS? You just pick. Can you walk back into the scanner and fail? That is a good question. I think to test that, you should probably just smack yourself straight into the scanner right when it spawns. That way you can more easily dash past it again. Imagine if you could manage to get hit by it, walk back, dash through it, and have it go over you again. I wonder if that would work. Now we're cooking. You wear water! Wow. Team 2 got Alexandria? Well then. did 2 teams get Alexandria and we got Yuwata? That's pretty good for us. You know, on the slight tangent of teams finishing at the same time, I have considered if we should try and see, like, make some sort of race, and it would be a very different kind of a daily stream, and it would probably be like pre-made teams, but it could be fun to see how big of a difference it makes. Also, hey Baranti, hope you're doing well. It's been a short bit, I feel. Hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. That's amazing. That's amazing. I can't remember what the whole like impetus of doing such a race was. I just remember that we talked about it. Maybe the logic was that just to see how much it can vary, or just for fun. It was probably just for fun. Because I feel like I remember that the idea came about when we were doing some of the relic weapon speedruns. Would the teams queue for the same duty? Would it be up for the roulette? The idea would be that you do the roulettes, and then, I mean, the universe dictates that you're just getting screwed, and then we'd see what we do if it makes too much of a difference. The thing we kind of ran into was... right, I think part of it was how quickly can you do all of your daily roulettes. I think that was what it originated from. And then it was like, well, some roulettes require a different count of players. So how do you reconcile that? Like, what do you do with that? And then it's like, well, I mean, just for the memes, you could do a race, and then once everyone is finished, you go and do the 8-man stuff together. That would both combine as a race and like a speed run combined. And part of what's interesting in it is that the overall speed run would be dependent on the losing team in the race initially. Another way you could do it would also be to do the 8-man stuff first and then split up. Like to start with the speedrun bit and then finish with the race. I don't know. It was something that I remember I thought about. I was like, that could be funny. And then it hasn't happened because like that. The rest of the idea didn't actually pop into existence. I was just like, all right, how do you do that? We would probably have to make some sort of rule set, because otherwise you'll like quickly jump into some people cheating by like, you know, make it like, oh, incidentally this guy has a level 50 job so that you can get the low level duties for these specific roulettes and things like that, which kind of would be misleading, I feel. Or if it's allowed, then of course it goes that everyone is allowed to do it, right? Congratulations, Franti! That's awesome! Hey, Riley! And Frosty Trout! Oh, hold! Frosty says, thanks to your tips the other day that I tuned in, I picked up my first alt job and got it to level 50 for Heavensward. Nice! And congratulations, Riley. That's awesome. Time to teach the sprouts. Yeah, exactly, Exodi. Exactly. But see, what's interesting there is that we discovered with that relic grind that it doesn't work if you're a full pre-made. That's why I'm like, you could cheese it by having someone legitimately low level, or legitimately, like, well, actually, it would have to be legitimately low level. The reason is that when you have a full pre-made, the game just goes, well, I mean, you're a high enough level for this kind of roulette, so you should have thought about that. And hey, Rios! I'm now learning that elegant tombstones are unfun to farm for I-130. Yeah, I'd say you don't have to get all of that. Consider, Frosty Trout, that once you start on Heavensward quests, they give you like 110, 115 pieces and stuff like that. So if you're going into Heavensward in full 130, you've basically just ensured that you're gonna get this loot and be like, thanks. It's actually a problem that you can commonly run into if you like got good gear in the preceding expansion when a new one comes out, is that you'll just be like, I don't need any of this. Like, I actually sat on a huge pile of weapon and armor and accessory coffers for nearly the whole expansion here because, I mean, I didn't need it, most of it. So I just stored it and was like, okay, great, I'll sell this, I guess. Got a Leviathan Extreme with a pre-made of 5 in there, and they also mentioned that they watched a 2-minute guide. Oh, nice! Fantastic! You know, that is actually, that's the key thing, is that the main motivation for me making the, like, actually, like, in extension of what Dan asked for earlier was, could you make, like, short guides for Heavensward Extremes? The reason why I felt that it made a lot of sense to make the A Realm Reborn ones is that the A Realm Reborn Extremes come up really frequently. In, like, for instance, in Mentor Roulette. Roulettes past that don't. So it's less often that I feel people need them. And I feel like once you get to, like, Heavensward, the probability that someone would watch a guide like that in preparation and also would queue for it is starting to, like, become really, really small. Because at some point, like, the reason why they queue is because they're not, like, I'm not saying, again, we've talked about this a million times, I'm not saying that there's a problem with queuing for extremes. I don't mind. But let's just say that the players that do are a lot more likely to not watch guides. That's how they ended up there in the first place. Like, if they go to the console games wiki page for any A Realm Reborn or Heavensward Extreme, there's like big red letters telling, at the very top, telling you not to queue for it. Wow, that's a huge safe spot. We can all fit in here. Fantastic. Say, Edric. Ow. A Tempest. Well, to be fair on that one, Edric, all content that trusts are allowed for are content that if you, like, I would say even the sweatiest, like, mentor player who's like, no, you have to watch a, like, you can't queue for things and you have to watch a guide and all that, would not tell you that you have to watch a guide for that kind of casual content. I don't think. You can if you want to, but, like, generally speaking, casual content is considered easy enough that you can do it like on the fly guessing. The reason why there's such a like an emphasis on making sure you watch the guide and things like that for extremes is, first of all, that it can simply be too hard to explain, but also when you queue for an extreme, you land in the duty, you have 1 hour to both learn the fight, possibly explain things you don't get, and also clear it. And for a lot of these, the clear pull still takes like 8 to 10 minutes. So essentially you have 50 minutes or so to learn the fight, and then you just have to nail it. And if you don't make it, well then, I mean, you would have to queue again. And that could take another hour. Potentially. It could also not. So because people want to like make sure that you get it, by removing the time that you could do beforehand, like by clearing that, by making sure you watch a guide and such, easy. But when it comes to casual content, most mechanics are lenient enough that you don't have to worry about that. So you, like, if you prefer to do it with trusts, go right on ahead. Actually, like, that is an opportunity to really relax and take your time. But I'm just saying, you don't have to worry about that. No one's gonna get on your case for not having watched a guide for, I can assure you, any content for which you can choose this or this. Any content where that exists in these menus exactly as, like, exactly that name, not the extreme version specifically, but the ones you can run with NPCs are easy enough that you don't have to have watched a guide or anything. And sure, as Bokash says, if the queue is really long, you might as well watch a guide while you're waiting. I wonder if there's a way to codify that into some kind of extreme trial practice segment, kind of like how in Gran Turismo you can practice tracks by stages. I mean, a huge part of getting good at learning mechanics in Final Fantasy XIV is allowing yourself to have to figure things out yourself. But sometimes there's like a stage of like learning how to understand these mechanics initially. Like, how do I put this is that if you only learn mechanics by watching a guide, then you might not learn what the tell is for a mechanic being a certain way, because what you actually learned is, well, the boss is gonna do a right side half room cleave and then a left one. And then they're gonna do a gaze mechanic, so you look away. And then they're gonna do spread markers. And then they do a little jiggy. And then they tank buster. And that's what you remember. You don't remember what anything is called. You just go bop, 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 bop. And that doesn't translate to any skill at, you know, unpacking a mechanic on your own. Which is why I'm like, when I say you don't have to watch a guide for casual content, is precisely because that is an opportunity for you to learn this stuff. The little jiggy is load bearing. Oh yes. Also, you stuck. Isn't there a face learning version in the Duty Finder? No. There is, like, if you go in here, there's like this. This is for queuing, to matchmake you correctly. So basically, if one were to actually use the Duty Finder for queuing for Savage, then you would choose something like this if you're progging, like with your new prog. And then you might choose this when you're learning Hardened Rage. And then you do this when you're actually, you can see here, you choose this when you're aiming for the clear, and you do this when it's farm. So it's for JP? Not even, Stark, because I wanted to understand really clearly, and I've talked about this before, the Japanese players don't use this stuff very much. I've been told by players in, like, that play on JP data centers, that the way that this works is that they will use Party Finder for learning fights, which means that most of this is pointless. And then they might use this menu here, you know, something like this, for extreme farms. That's what I've been told. I don't, like, based on that, I have no clue why all of this is here, but I've been told that the amount JP uses these menus and Duty Finder is highly exaggerated. But part of the problem, Eric, I think, is that if they started making it so you could practice each individual phase one by one like that... Actually, I think we talked about that just the other day. That maybe that could be an option. That would both heavily reduce the difficulty of hard content, for good or bad, but it will also completely demystify everything. Now, the question is whether that's interesting, but we are playing... Get this, guys. You might have to sit down if you're not. And hold on to something. We're playing a fantasy game in a fantasy world. It's not just all... It's not just boss fights. And it's not just racing to clear the boss first. You have to... Like, the way that it works, that you go... That you survive each time you wipe, is, I believe the closest you get to an explanation for it is that each time you wipe, that was actually the echo giving you, like, a potential telling of the future? Or something like that? But that's not actually what happened. What actually happened is the one we clear. And then all of the Savage and Unreal and Ultimates and Extremes and all that are all made up. Most of them. There's very few of them that are actually considered canon, like part of the story. Nearly all of them is just some guy going, wouldn't it be funny? So, in a way, every time you wipe on an ultimate, that's you, like, standing in front of the bar, like, hey, oh, wait. Can you start over? Can you go back? I got a part wrong. And like, yes, but only from the start. Blah, 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 blah. And then you hallucinate the crazy fight again. Except that in that one Alexander and Rage where he time warps you to the beginning of the fight. Oh yeah, that's true, but maybe that's just part of the song. How does that work with a fight with a checkpoint? Well, I mean, there's just a prelude to the song. Zero Tempest says, what's the reason for EU or NA not using Duty Finder for extreme farms, for example? People want to be sure that they get a solid team and that they agree on everything. If you like, here's a key difference between the Western player base and the JP player base. The Western player base, once things have settled, are relatively likely to agree on a specific strategy. For instance, a majority of parties will probably say Hector strat, but sometimes even Hector will suggest 2 different ways to solve a fight, like solve a specific mechanic. And sometimes the prevailing strategy is not something that Hector has actually covered, in which case that's the prevailing strategy. And if you just queue in, hypothetically, you might have 6 players that know how to do Hector, and the last 2 would rather do something else or only know something else. And you can't fix that. And because you queued in, you have to sit there for 15 minutes before you can vote abandon. Or 5 minutes before you can kick someone. And if you leave, you get a penalty. And you can avoid all of this by just making your group with this instead. So you really, really don't want to do that. And that's basically the reason. Meanwhile, in JP, I believe there's like... They almost like... This is a slight exaggeration. Joke incoming. They basically go to a church called, I think it's Game 8, and just go hamana, guide, hum. And then guide comes out to them. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. That's what we're doing. And you can flail and tantrum all you want. That's what we're doing. You can pretend to not have to do that by using Party Finder. Yeah. But the point being that in JP it's a lot more common that they agree on a specific strategy and just everyone does that. Which means that if they queue in, they will just like, either you do game 8 or you're stupid. Even if your strategy is better. Doesn't matter. You know that everyone else is gonna do game 8. So if you're not doing that, that's on you. And you should have known better. Especially if you'd use Duty Finder. That's how they can make it work. Is that they've basically standardized strategies completely. But we haven't. Because there's WoW mindset. Well, to be fair, when WoW often has like an add-on to tell you what to do, if the add-on does it correct, like does it in a specific way, it's gonna be difficult to avoid that, right? Also, he stateless and Dottleneck. Senate says if you do a different strat, you go on the Gaijin register. Yeah, exactly. You don't know about the Game 8 thing? Well, well, you're on the list. But yeah, it's that's just how it is. And I do realize also that for old extremes that it can be really hard to find groups, because we can be like, no, you have to use Party Finder. And then like, I know Chaos makes it really funny because it's like, wow, there's echo in here. But even if you go where you're supposed to go to like make parties, it's like you post up in Party Finder. The probability that if you post up in Party Finder like, I want to do Ramu synced on extreme, that someone pops in like, just set it to unsynced, I'll smash that out for you real quick. And it's like, no, I actually want to do it with the mechanics. Okay, suit yourself. And then you're like stuck there for 30 minutes with no one clicking. I don't know if it's that bad, but my point is that it's very easy to be like, you have to make your groups in Party Finder without actually checking what the experience is gonna be. When you actually try. Zerilia says, I had people like that join us in explicitly minimum item level, no echo blind parties. Exactly. Precisely. So I totally get it. Which is also why, like, I think the real truth is that in a Realm Reborn extremes, some players are gonna be like, you know, queuing for it because that's the option, and it kind of works out. Maybe they've started to notice that, wow, it's actually really hard with Ramu or Leviathan or maybe King Moggelmog. And then they choose to not do it anymore after that. Or maybe they fail and they're like, okay, well, I guess it's too hard. And they don't go on to try it again in Heavensward. A few might try it in Heavensward, either because that's the first time they tried, or maybe they cleared all the Realm Reborn ones and were like, that was easy, and just keep queuing. And then they might eventually go, oh wow, Thornton's actually really hard, as it turns out when he's on Extreme. And maybe then they realize, oh, maybe we shouldn't queue. Or maybe that's when they run into a mentor saying, hey, you should actually use Party Finder for this. And eventually they'll try Party Finder, or maybe they find a community specifically dedicated to content like this. Either way, they're gone from this whole system. And that's basically, like, I'm guessing that's the reason why I have, like, Kai checks his notes, Kai checks his notes, Kai checks his notes, Kai checks his notes. I found the wrong note. I keeps checking his notes. Like, nearly 200 extreme trials. And aside from Rathalos, one was Susano Extreme from Stormblood. Deadman says, I kind of want to get a group of 4 together and just queue for extremes to mess with mentors. My advice there, Deadman, is don't bother with that. But if you want to try the duties in Duty Finder, I can't stop you. And if you're, like, legitimately trying, then there's nothing against it. Like, I'm basically saying that, man, if you queue for something like, I don't know, Shinryu Extreme, and you go in and you're not actually trying, then you're part of the problem, right? But if you're going in, you did your homework, and you're like, I mean, I want, like, if we can clear it in Duty Finder, I'm totally up for that. And you just try your best, then, like, I mean, then I would say the mentors getting mad about it would be the problem. But genuinely, and I've said this a few times, is that the problem with extremes in Mentor Roulette is not the extreme duties. The problem is the individuals that queue for it, that don't have their homework in order, and simultaneously make no effort to fix that in post while they're there. That's what makes it a problem. And the individuals that think it's funny to queue for mentor roulettes, or sorry, to queue for extremes to mess with mentors, would just make it worse. Zero says, can mentor roulette give any extreme? Mentor roulettes can give... First of all, Mentor Roulette can give all of these duties here. You have to really look closely. That includes every single duty in the game that is not PvP, Savage, Coils of Bahamut, or on this list, or an extreme from Dawntrail. That's basically it. We'll get back to dailies in a moment, silly. And also, yeah, the gold saucer stuff can't happen either. Does Ultimus Bane count as extreme? Yes. basically, this, where it says high end, that means this is the extreme list. Technically, Earth's Found is this, like, weird limbo mode, where it's technically not an extreme, but it's considered too hard for normal trial roulette. But these are all extremes. These are all extremes. These are all, like, for some reason they just sometimes choose to use Minstrel's Ballad instead of parentheses extreme. But all of these, like, if they're under the high-end trials menu, that is an extreme. But I would also say Ultimate Weapon Extreme is one of the easier ones. Possibly the easiest one. I discovered, like, yesterday, that there was a recent Mental Roulette stream where Shaq and I landed in the same party for Ultimate Weapon Extreme. And we were the only two players actually dealing with the orbs that can wipe the whole party if people aren't participating. One healer, one tank. The rest of the party didn't matter. Which is made even worse by the fact that we know that two gunbreakers can do the duty altogether. Synced. So... yeah, exactly, Helium. Wow, that was easy. Let's go again. Anyway, I'll be right back, and then we'll be back on the dailies. In the meantime, sanity restored. And... Alright, I am back. Ace Metron says, Ultimate Weapons Extreme difficulty is mostly in orb soaking and not much else. Yep, basically, what you will often see in my Mental Roulette series is that when we get certain extremes, I basically skip to the hard part. Like with Ultimate Weapon, I'm pretty much always like, right, so we had Ultimate Weapon. Anyway, for the first orb, this happened. For the second orb, this happened. For the third orb, that happened. Done. Because not all of the other mechanics in the fight, at least when synced in that way, boil down to don't get hit, Lamau. Like, one tank in the 4th wave of orbs, one tank using their mitigation can take, like, 6 orbs, I think. No problem. See Ragnarok here. And Big Tortoise. What is the best way to get used to doing extreme, since I just started Mentor a couple of weeks ago and it's a bit nerve-wracking? The only way to get used to that is to get into it. Like, just do them. Because it's Mentor Roulette, there's no way to properly prepare you, because what you're trying to prepare yourself for is someone basically going like, you just click a button and then it just goes, and now you're doing Garuda Extreme. Do you remember how to do that? My advice is, when you land in an extreme, if you remember the mechanics, great. If you don't, then I usually recommend just asking in the party, like, does anyone here know how to do the fight, so we can talk about it, like, if you need it. Or open a guide. It could be the Console Games Wiki guide. That's not usually super great, but it should give you enough information that you can, you know, put together what needs to happen. Or, if it's an A Realm Reborn extreme, I have a video that covers all of the A Realm Reborn extremes, about 2 minutes each. You could just put that one on. They are also in shorts versions for all of them. But yeah, you could just go and do the, like, check that guide real quick when you land in the duty. That should cover everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. But other than that, you're basically challenged to try and figure it out as you go. So just getting used to it. Like, as I said, I've done over 100 of them in Mentor Roulette, and it's the same as everything else. When people are like, how do you get over, like, being anxious about tanking? I'm like, well, what you have to do is step 1, queue as a tank and do duties that you're anxious about. Just do them anyway. And once you've done like 10, you're probably already less worried. Once you've done 100, if you goof it, you don't even care, because it's 1 out of 100. It doesn't matter. No, like, who cares? No one. Not even your party really cares. It's just like, oh, that's weird. Anyway, we go again. That's how you do it. You just repetition. Anyway, duty time. If you would like to join me for high-level dungeons, come on over to me. I just realized that Zaf completely missed the chance because I was too slow. I got the names. Nice. IKEA employee. Fantastic. Thoronex says, I still don't understand how people can be stressed about playing tank. I personally love it because it feels like easy mode. I don't know what to tell you, Doronek. It might be that you basically already went through this experience of having to, like, get over it. You also might not ever have worried about it. Like, let me put it like this. My 100, quote-unquote, of every roll was done when I was, like, 13 and didn't care. I didn't even consider it was a possibility that that could matter. I was just playing video games. So that could be the reason as well. We'll just stand here. Ragnarok here says, do you ever spam a specific kind of roulette for fun? I like spamming trial roulette. Whoops. For a few hours sometimes, or if not sleepy enough to sleep. I don't. Typically, if I hit that kind of point, I'm probably looking for something to do. In fact, once I've done the daily roulette, if I want to do something specific, I'll queue for that thing in particular, because once you've done the daily, the only other reward you get for like spamming it is the adventure and need thing. But it is funny. Let's just say that, like I've mentioned this before, just like there are players that are afraid of tanking and healing, there are players that are afraid of DPSing. And what it usually comes down to, I think if you're an inexperienced player, just, you know, generally, and so you're scared of doing content with other players is the problem, because you don't have a lot of experience with other players. Then like that's one way of it. Like, we all need to learn this at some point, right? We have to deal with that at some point. It's a multiplayer game. But if you actually have experience with 1 or 2 roles in the game already, and you're still like, and that's why you're anxious about it, then that's usually because you have accumulated all of this experience in that or those roles, which means that you're afraid of not doing that well with this role you're not experienced with. Or alternatively, because you are so experienced at the role you're good at, with like you might imagine that you're a lot better, or that it's a lot more complicated to be as good as you are at the role that you're playing. And so, or alternatively, you might even believe that the role you're playing is Lomao easy mode and everyone else is having it tough, so you're scared of stepping out of that comfort zone of playing the role that is easy mode. Either way you slice it, the reason you don't want to play the other roles is because you're afraid that you're not actually good enough without playing that that role that you're good at. Whether it's because you've deemed that your role is supposedly easy, or you've deemed that your role is supposedly also hard, and presumably all of the roles are really hard. So you don't know how you'll be able to manage these other roles that you're not experienced with. Ultimately, DPS anxiety is probably the easiest one to understand in this way, especially if you don't like at least it's a lot easier to see, like, yeah, I can see the problem, but it's really silly that you're anxious about that, because where some people like tank is the easy mode, is like tank has easier attack rotations than most DPS, and tanks, unlike the other roles, can consistently get away with just tanking a mechanic and just like walk away from it and be fine. So your mistakes are extremely well hidden compared to if you're a DPS or a healer. Meanwhile, a DPS can make, like, the only time a DPS making mistakes really stands out as super obvious is if they die. or if they're doing like a significant amount of mistakes, or if they're like making mistakes that are so bad that they're actively hindering the rest of the team. Otherwise, no one's gonna notice. No one's gonna care that you goofed your rotation most of the time. If you're playing okay, then no one's gonna notice. Like, a funny one that I've brought up a few times is that while we're so focused on things like, oh, that black mage is doing a bad casting rotation, the only reason why we do that is because for some reason the game decided that casts are fully visible for everyone. Meanwhile, that ninja doing 1, 2, 3s for the whole duty, no one says anything unless they do dot on single target. As long as they don't do dot on single target, then no one's even gonna comment. And for the most part, I do agree, Spamcan, that most people are probably just gonna shake their head if you're an ice mage. But again, no one's gonna care. But what really matters in this whole circular dissertation is that being anxious about playing a role is possibly a lot more about being afraid that what you already know isn't good enough, or that you're not skilled enough to play this role you're not acquainted with. Meanwhile, like, if you've watched my guides on roles, on various jobs and so on, like, you'll notice that when I'm tanking on stream like this, I'm not playing nearly as perfectly as, like, I suggest you should. But the difference is in what's perfect and what's good enough. And it's really hard for me to explain to you what's good enough. But if you know what's perfect, then you can work your way up. Work your way up to that, or you'll find out what part of what I explained is excessive. But yeah, if you're scared of playing a role, just keep in mind that the rest of your team probably doesn't care as long as you try your best. I think the one that is the most obvious and scary is if you're a tank and you're not pulling big enough, quote unquote, not big enough, that's gonna stand out really quickly. If you're a healer and your party dies as a result of clearly lack of healing, that's probably gonna get noticed. But the reason why DPS is generally considered such a relaxed role is that, at least in casual content, you making a mistake doesn't do anything. Like, okay, the boss is gonna take longer, I guess. It's AK. I hope you're doing well. How's my ultimate proc going? Well, not very good, as you can see. We've not even entered. An 8-bolt blitz. Oops. Exactly, silly. That's basically also what it comes down to. That's why whenever we talk about this anxiety with playing a role, that what I say is almost always, all you have to do is play it anyway. Which I know is one of the silliest pieces of advice. Okay, listen, teacher, I'm scared that I won't do well doing this thing. What should I do about it? Do it anyway. I'm sure it'll go great. Surely. Like, like a mother bird just kicking their child out of the nest and going, "Fly, you fool!" And hopefully it works. Hey, Shaq. I hope you're doing well. I got a thing about quest? I did indeed. Did Team 2 come out? Did we get back the Team 2? Did we have a Team 2? Oh. Amarat. Fantastic. Well, then I can hand in this quest that I got. Actually, let me hand in the other one first. Hi, Shaq. Ta-da! Oh, we can probably just do this. Hey, just Caetsu. Hope you're doing well. You're watching your mad, or do you plan to prog it yourself at some point? Maybe one day. For now, I'm part of the world first charity stream casters. Did you not check in earlier? I was there live, next to people actually progging it. But I haven't unlocked it yet, because I haven't cleared the current Savage tiers. It's gonna be really hard to prog it, right? I have a feeling when we have when or if we clear M12S, we will probably go back to finishing the thing we were doing with Uwu that we never finished, because then the second raid tier came out, and then the second raid tier took us so long to clear that the third raid tier basically came out a week later. Wow, we defeated all of the enemies. Amazing. Brilliant says, I wonder how Gunbreaker would work if it had a stagger thing. I mean, the problem there is that Gunbreaker doesn't have any other things that play with that. So it'd probably make more sense to make a new tank altogether to interact with such a mechanic. Now, Team 2 is back. So, if you'd like to join me for leveling roulette, come on over to me. Ragnarok here says, I found the monk stagger mechanic in WoW awkward and didn't like it, but it was likely a me problem. The stagger mechanic is one of the most interesting ways to make mitigation, I feel, for a tank, or for anything. But, admittedly, it is also insanely hard to balance. Is Monk in 14 just a punch kick dude? I mean, they also use elemental riddles. But yeah, they're essentially the punch kick guy.
You will not defile my new paradise.
Wow! We can keep going, I got this. Double timing for my stream to jank up. It's like it knows. Me looking up from Roulette. Wow! I think Save is tanking something. It makes some time? Yeah, incredible comedic timing from YouTube, am I right? That was fine, Ilya. It was just a little harder because I realized Civ was tanking as well. Frosty Trout says, so if my Dragoon is item level 120 and my Paladin is 105, I should use my Paladin for daily roulette then? What difference does it make? Which one do you want to do? What's the reasoning for the choice? Let's hear that. Make some time. Thank you. That's what you were wondering. The one that has lower item level has lower item level. It doesn't mean that they get bigger rewards. In fact, they should be getting the same rewards. The only difference is that if you're doing something that gives XP, like for instance leveling roulette, the daily from that gives level scaling XP. So the higher level job will get more XP to get proportionally roughly the same as a lower level job. But that's level, not item level. The actual item level makes no difference. I was asking if it would be faster to do Paladin since it'll queue quicker. Oh yeah, in that case, yes. The Paladin will probably queue a lot faster. Like a lot faster. Like instantly, most of the time. But because you said item levels, I thought that was the important bit. Well, someone referenced going for roles in need for bonus loot. That's correct. The Adventurer in Need bonus is given for queuing as the role that is most needed, which is usually tank, even at times when healer has a faster queue. But let's just say the XP from the Adventurer in Need isn't so huge that you need it. Like, that's usually not something really big. But the Adventure Need bonus is a bonus. Like, it gives a decent amount of gil. But if you're doing daily roulettes on jobs that are not max level, usually the main motivation is XP, which is why I was like, your item levels, that doesn't matter. What job do you want to play? What are you leveling? Like, that's what matters. The item level is irrelevant. I need them elegant tombstones with the augmented I-130 gear. Fair enough. In that case, whatever gets you in faster, yeah. But I still just want to reiterate, Frosty Trout, that let's say that you just put down your knife and fork on this farm and just went ahead on the MSQ. I don't know, pull out your spoon and do the MSQ instead, and you just start working on Heavensward, right? At around level 53, 54 or so, you'll start getting gear that is better than the Magitech armor. Like 53, 54 MSQ level. So if you spend days grinding Magitech gear to be prepared, what's gonna happen is that you might feel like you wasted your time a bit. Let's try again. There we go. I'm learning the lingo. Well, I mean, the knife and fork bit is more something that I learned from a teacher many years ago. The bit being from in the context of that teacher was that he was more so saying it in the case of he was a math teacher and was explaining a little bit that, like, it wasn't uncommon that people would be like, I don't get it, I don't understand, and he was like, yeah, well, I mean, listen, if you just, the moment you meet resistance, just drop your knife and fork and stop even trying, then, I mean, yeah, then you're not gonna get it. Turns out, and if you're not putting in any effort to learn something, you're not gonna learn it. Weird. Weird how that works. You could do that, Frosty Trout. Let me just put it like this. I mean, the bigger problem here is probably in wanting to gear 2 jobs simultaneously. But you should be able to do that all right by, like, evenly distributing them as you get offered equipment.
Can't you do anything by yourself?
And you shouldn't need to go out of your way to farm Magitech gear. If you want to, go for it. If you want to do daily roulettes, go for it. What I'm trying to go for here is more so you don't have to farm all this. It's optional. That's what I'm saying. Wow! Wow! Ah! Oof. That's good, Frosty Trout. I'm basically just saying that if you're, like, pausing your progress on the MSQ to grind gear, my advice is the moment that that isn't fun anymore, then stop and just proc the MSQ. You don't have to. You don't have to farm all that gear. It's optional. And worst case, you can fix the gear when it becomes a problem. If it becomes a problem. But if you're like, I just need like an excuse to do daily roulettes, then go for it, man. Or woman. Go for it, person. Someone in my novice network said I would need the full I-130 gear before Heavensward, so I got a little scrambly. That's incredibly bad advice. No, you don't. You absolutely don't. No, 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 no. Like, let me do this, like this. If you want to go into Duty Finder and do extreme trials from ARR, then maybe you should put your grind pants on and get that Magitech gear. If not, and you're not like, well, actually not that, but I want to do Coils of Bahamut synced. If you're not doing either of those things, then no, you don't need the Magitech gear. The only reason that you'd need, quote-unquote, any of it is that it might be hard to maintain decent gear on 2 vastly different roles simultaneously. Like, that's the only reason, like, why I'm like, if it becomes a problem. Because if you just give all of the gear you get from MSQ to Dragoon, then your Paladin is probably going to fall behind. If you give it all to Paladin, your Dragoon is going to fall behind. But if you, like, carefully distribute a little bit evenly between them, it might be fine and completely unnoticeable. But you absolutely don't need Icemetal 130 for Heavensward. In fact, the first few quests you're gonna run into will start handing you, I believe it's 110 gear. Because that's the gear they assume you will need. And it's gonna be normal quality gear, if I remember correctly as well, which is like 10% weaker, so in actual value, power value, it's probably closer to Icemetal 100. You won't need it, you'll be fine. Ragnarok says, I recommend Poetics gear to ignore the gear in the MSQ of the next expansion, but it's not needed, just helps. Yeah, exactly. It helps, but you don't need it. So someone telling you that you need it, I mean, hypothetically, if you just did a dungeon with them, or a raid or trial or something, and then they tell you that, then my suspicion is that they saw that you were extremely bad at the game, and they were like, you're probably gonna need a little bit of help with the gear. Like, that'll help compensate for you being bad. But if they didn't do that, then I'd, like, no. No. In fact, you can also see, like, back in Endwalker, I did a stream series called Rewind Replay, where I played through the entire MSQ again on an alt, Small Kai. And never ever did I go out of my way to grind anything. If I had Poetics, I'd buy some gear, sure, but for the most part, I just scrambled together what I had. And it was never a problem. In fact, those enormous pulls we just did in Mount Gulg, I have footage on stream of me doing that pull under-leveled and under-geared as Dark Knight. Granted, probably compensated for by the rest of the team being strong, but doesn't matter. Fine. Yeah, that's also a good point, Ragnarok here. If your gear is absolute mega garbage, then maybe a little thing would help. Behemoth says, I actually found your channel from an Endwalker video, the Paradox Mage video. Ah. Yeah, that was fine, Alice. On the topic of being afraid to tank, nice with the roulette to give me Mount Gulg. Well, I mean, you did fine. That's exactly what I mean. What were you afraid of? That was fine. That was like some of the biggest, hardest pulls in the game, and it wasn't even a problem. Thank you, Ardell. Nate Weaver. Yeah, as Metricon says, what Poetics gear is probably more helpful for is for catching up jobs once you've actually finished the MSQ and things like that. It's a lot less about collecting for progressing through the MSQ. Like the pacing of the MSQ is such that you don't have to worry about it. The only time it can become a problem is if you start distributing your gear too hard, as I said. But if that happens, and you're like, oh, whoops, I guess I goofed it, you can always fix it with a little bit of Poetics that you might have incidentally by doing a lot of roulettes. Because if you're maintaining a bunch of jobs at once, you're probably doing a lot of roulettes. And if you're doing a lot of roulettes, you probably have some Poetics. Right then, next up, I think we just have, next we have the 8-man stuff. If you'd like to join me for Trials Roulette, come on over to me. Let's see how many we are. But I think I counted the Major General there at least once. See, we're 13. Wow. I see that many names, and I'm like, I already know I can't bring everyone. So what do I do about that? Hey, Sugar, hope you're doing well, and thank you for the resub. We're doing quite alright. We're a little slow on the... that could be an option. I feel like with trials and normal raids, we try to make a full party so that we can meme it up if we want to. But for Alliance raids, we'll have to split up a little bit. Hope you're doing well, Sugar. We're a little slow on the dailies today, I think. But it's fine. It's more for the meme. Understandable. When would Perdix become usable for Dawntrail gear based on past expansions? Whenever Cold Lands. No, we're good, Sugar, but you're always welcome to come around if you want to. Oh, wow. Jack says, oh no, why? The community can do this. Hey, what's up, dude? Second group got Zodiac. Wowzers. I got his boss. Huh? Huh? Hey, cat. Hope you're doing well. Keep ballin'. I mean, we didn't play, but when I was on casting the race, they were still derping around with the first mechanic of Phase 2. Well, in that case, Najee, you might see some tricks you didn't know. And they still are now? Oh boy. I'm sorry for the people that are on shift now for that race. Oh man. Oh boy. Wait, is the entirety of Phase 2 those stupid towers? Really? Are they? You know, I think that's really funny because I think I randomly suggested that could be a thing. That the whole phase was that mechanic. That's really funny. Oh boy. Quake! Quake 3! That's a video game! And then you can run away to get rid of the blight. Wait, what? I didn't even get the debuff. What? Well, in that case... Blight can be barrier blocked. That's certainly news to me. The extended cover? That's really funny. I'll go over here and do this one. I have my mid as well. I just don't have an invuln. Kill him! Amazing! When do you get Living Dead? At 50, the reason I don't use it there is because it doesn't do anything. It would just, you know... you would just have the pre-buff for like 2 minutes, and then if you die, it would go to the 10-second death timer. But it is at 50. Hey, Bread Bean. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs, Exodia. Wow. That's crazy. Just out of nowhere with the steel chair. I guess that counts as 8 players clearing Blight, but the block was cool, so I'll add an extra 2. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So the way that fight works is that whenever Nabrialis jumps to the center of the arena and becomes untargetable, you're supposed to soak the orbs. Technically, you could just have like 2 players do it, I guess. But the way that it works is that as long as you alternate between like the greenish, like net-shaped orbs or net kind of orbs and the red orbs, it doesn't do very much damage. It barely does anything because they give different vulnerability debuffs, and getting one overrides the other. So as long as you go green, red, green, red, green, red, or vice versa, it doesn't do anything. But if you grab green, 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 it'll like, the first one will do nothing, the second one will knock you back and hurt a lot, and the third one will probably kill you. Unless you're getting healed. So you don't want to do that. You're supposed to alternate. And that's correct, Behemoth. One gives physical vuln and does physical, and the other one is a magical vuln and does magic damage. And then for phase 2, just before it starts, you see that Nabrialis does this like weird with tentacles that gives everyone a debuff that does damage and makes you take triple damage. Apparently, it can be blocked with a barrier. That's news to me. But what you're supposed to do is just run away from the portal in the center until it times out naturally. Because when you enter that white room, all buffs and debuffs on you have their durations multiplied by 10. So if you just let yourselves get sucked in, then this debuff that makes you take triple damage and does damage over time will last like 2.5 minutes. Whereas if you run away to time it out, then it will not go in with you. And those meteors coming down, anyone can take them. But if you have the debuff, then only a tank can take them. Can vuln stacks be blocked if you have a big enough shield? Sometimes. I don't know if those orbs in the intermissions there can be blocked by barriers, but apparently Blight can. I'm guessing it becomes much harder in later content. It swings. It swings. The reason why we talk about Nabrialis like that is because he's he's a random difficulty spike. Like, out of nowhere, he's just like, out of all these, he's possibly the hardest. normal trial in A Realm Reborn nowadays. Enjoy your day, Mary J. How are people so creative with their fashion in 14? Well, they take their time to fashion. Sometimes it's also just a set. Like, I'm pretty sure that... Okay, not all of it. I think that there's a mix of dancer and bard gear. Is that right, Vero? It is. Fantastic. It was the pants that gave it away for me. It was like, that's not dancer pants. Right. I think we will stick with this team for normal raids as well, if everyone's cool with that. And then we'll mix around for alliance raids. What do you guys think we're getting? What are we having? What are we having? It's Alexander A1N. A1N. No, A12N. I almost had it. Let's just say, Frosty Trout, that it used to be worse. As in more complicated. Thank you again, Exodi, for the 10 gifted. Apparently it led to a hype train. I didn't even notice. Very sorry. No Sutton, you mad? Could you imagine if you could land an ultimate with normal raid roulette? I'm sorry, Ilana. I didn't call out the train for you. But thank you so much for the cheer. DPS should meme and limit break Alexander. Thankfully, he's not targetable during the bit where you need the tank LB. Speaking of Heaven's Wall stuff, how did you feel about that when that was still a thing? The old glam system? I mean, I got into the game in Stormblood. I got into the game in Stormblood, and like I believe they had basically already made it a lot easier to deal with like glamour plate, glamour system and all that. But when I tried to look into it, all of the guides were talking about how like you need specific like specific types of glamour prisms for different gear. Like, oh, you need a specific carpenter glamour prism for this gear, and you need an armorer one for this gear, and like, oh boy. So I looked at it and then like just like had like swirly brain. I was like, never mind. And I didn't bother to look again until I like, interestingly, what made me go and look into it was what made me look into how glamour works was that I was not a fan of being forced to wear the Shisui gear. I thought that was too much for me. I'm like, that's weird. Can I have paints? And it was further emphasized when I think it was some really, really unreasonable heals as part of the gear from Swallow's Compass. Like, basically, the reason why I looked into how glamour works was that I got gear that I refused to wear. Not because I had gear I wanted to wear. Uh-oh. I specifically provoked because I saw your HP was low and we had a healer in trouble. The red black swordies go away, I guess? Maybe we HP thresholded him? We did it! But yeah, back in the day, you needed like specific glamour prisms for specific gear. Like basically, if a piece of equipment said repair requires a goldsmith, then you needed goldsmith glamour prisms. I think that was also required for melting in the past, that you needed to have like this particular crafter leveled. Like, it was very complicated. Well, complicated. It's pretty simple. It was just that it was very involved and took up a lot of space, honestly. You meant TP. Okay, I just saw that now, Behemoth. Let's put a pin in that and get the first short break, and then we go to the Alliance Raid stuff. I've not forgotten. But first, I'll be right back. In the meantime, sanity restored. And... Right, I'm back. Spamcan says, when they do the crossbeam AoE, is inside the hitbox safe? Because it looks like the AoE originates from outside the hitbox. No, the inside is not safe. It's actually double crossed on the inside, and you will die. Even though it looks like that. And yes, it's the same with Storg from Malika as well. Yeah, the Storg in Shadowbringers, the everything all together is just so that max melee range is close enough that you can dodge it just fine. Right, so Alliance Raid Roulette. We should probably split up in 2 teams. I think we were 13 before. So let's start with seeing how many we are for Alliance Raid Roulette. Come on over to me. Everyone that won an Alliance Raid. I'm getting 14. Because IKEA employee just barely made it. In that case, I need to grab 2 more, and then we need to have a team 2 made. Like that. In that case, we need to make a team 2 of what remains. It's more the chaos of making 2 teams that is the reason why I'm doing it like that. Are you 7 over there? Yes, it looks like you're 7. Fantastic. Have you managed to group together? Hey, yummy hamburgers! Hope you're doing well. Nox? Are you there? Scun says, are you allowed to queue Alliance Roulette with more than 8 people together via an Alliance Party Finder? I presume not, since we're not doing that. Correct. Alliance Raid Roulette, specifically the Roulette, allows only teams of at most 8 players. So even if we had a full 24 players, we would not be allowed to use it. That is the reason why what we do is that we... No, that's okay, Key Employee. We will try to make it work. We might not land in the same duty anyway, whether you're here or not. So that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Now, I'll do another ready check. You do that too. Everyone in each party, make sure when you have chosen your job, double check manually, you yourself, you the player, open this menu, check here, and make sure that it doesn't say that there's anything wrong with your gear, because the item level requirement depends on your level. Make sure that you yourself qualify, because otherwise our attempt to, like, Q-snipe each other might fail. Hey, Liv! Now, I assume both teams are ready, so I will call for a Q at this time, 1600 in Eorzea time. I hope you're ready for that over in Team 2. And... oh, I have a feeling that didn't work. Yeah, the difficult part about it, Frosty Trout, is usually that it's a really long way to the good bit. Or it feels like that for a lot of people. Well, we're getting split up. We tried. Probably get a DT one. Well, hold your horses. Maybe player number 15 doesn't click. Yes. Maybe they're AFK. I don't think that's your fault, Gameboy. I think this happened last time as well. It's just a random chance. Oh. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, it does help a lot with a like over on the YouTube side of things. You know, tell the algorithm that this is entertaining. Thank you so much in advance. Bruh. I have a feeling that we're gonna get bruh. Hey! Where are we going? Copy it factory. Woohoo! But we're here together! Hey! We did it! And Paranti is here too, apparently. Where's Paranti? Paranti is the Astrologian in Team A. Fantastic. Hey Melissa, hope you're doing well, and thank you for the resub. That is nice. Melissa with all the numbers. All the numbers. All of them? All of them. No circus tower for Kefka Day. Yeah, that's a good point. Ah. Meow. Not the orbs. Forceful impact. That looks more like a tank buster. Huh? Did you guys catch that too? Team A Paladin covering the Sprout Dragoon, and the Dragoon just going, oh, a shower of laser beams. Ah, awesome. Sure, why not?
Kill, kill, kill.
Amazing dialogue, robots. Ow. Ow! Yeah, I do suppose that Nier would be a lot more common now, with the free trial having moved to Shadowbringers. I just don't see Copied Factory very much. It's mostly Tower Paradigm's Breach, and I'm usually a replacement. Ba-boom. 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 Clonk. A slonk. A slonk. What do you mean, Sally? Oh, well, fortunately, the Sprout didn't say a word, but they also didn't take any damage. Considering the timing of that cover, I'm willing to suggest that the tank and the DPS is together. But it is a classic. The DPS that stands in the fire or stands in thing that they shouldn't stand in dies and goes, heals? And you're like, all you can say is like, well, here's a tip. Genius. Maybe don't stand in the death zone if you don't want to die. They had 5 bombs? Oh. Okay, they had kind of demonstrated they were probably not gonna dodge. Fair enough. But then it is a classic. It is absolutely a classic. The dying to not dodging, followed by blaming the healer. That one isn't exclusive to DPS though. Liv says, that one clip of someone new to the game doing Aldroy to Savage, standing in the AoEs, dying, and then yelling, where were the heals? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Can't heal stupid. Hey, Christy Marie. No, Crystal Marie was it, right? I don't know, Heliam. I think it's just that with years of human technological advancements, people have determined that it is cringe to say that because you're gonna look really stupid if the reason you died is because you were stupid and not because the healer wasn't healing you. So it's easier to just say nothing. If it was the healer's fault, they'll probably already be told that they were stupid. So, considering that they weren't... It's probably you. But it is always a hoot when we see it. Also that, Mistle, it's like, if you have a solid healer that knows what they're doing, then there's no need to call out the healer like that. Because if it actually was the... I mean, I'm trying my best here. If it was actually the healer's problem, they'll probably have admitted to it anyway. Or they'll know that they're in the wrong. You don't have to tell them too. That's actually also just generally good advice, is that if someone goofs up in a fight, unless they've basically demonstrated that they absolutely don't agree, or that they're about to blame someone else, then you probably don't need to tell them that they goofed it. They probably know. They probably know. Clap. 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 Mistle says, straight up had a Sprout healer. Apologize to DPS for letting them die. When they were the one who didn't wait for their invuln to go the other day. Ah, yes, the classic. DPS gets rest. DPS gets up. DPS slams their attack as quickly as they can and then immediately dies from raid wide. And healer had no time or chance to do anything about it because the DPS attacked immediately. Very cool. That one is always funny. To be fair on that one, the game is terrible at explaining that whole thing, which is to say it doesn't. So it can be difficult for a Sprout to even know that it's a thing. Remember when Transcendence wasn't a thing? Oh, right. Like, I misunderstood that initially. Yeah, originally, the res invuln was not a buff. It was just a hidden mechanic. So you could just get up and then, you know, take no damage because you just got rest. And the game had, like, did not explain that at all. Exactly, a little bit like iframes. I'm going over here. Fire! No more tea. It's a tank. It's a tank, it's a tank, it's a tank, it's a tank, it's a tank. That for some reason shoots out artillery. Oh, that was a very pretty. Very nice. Very synchronized in a way.
Mission failed.
Have you ever played Automata? Nope. I have not. I once watched a friend play it. But, but that was it. Hey Duff, hope you're doing well.
Light fast blade.
Hey Eduardo, hope you're doing well. Wonder if there's a way to show a GCD icon or bar next to the character. I mean, you could hypothetically grab a whole hotbar and just place a macro that uses M icon for something like hard slash, you know, a regular GCD, and like hide unused buttons. Then you would have that, and every time you press, it would show the GCD spinning like that. A bar, not possible. Not with the game as is. I'll say, Shark, hope you're doing well, and congratulations, it sounds like you are. Awesome. Uh-oh. Roasted Black Mage. Hey, we do have a lot of scholars. Black Mage, you're meant to cast Fireball, not become a Fireball. Black Mage, you're supposed to cook, not become cooked. Come on. Ow. Jumping lizard. And he clapped. Looks like Shaq got clapped. Now charging. This one is mine. Because I'm Team C. Asia Blessed. Hope you're doing well. Are you asking what that is? The monster? Quote unquote? The machine? Prepare for breach! Dun 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 dun! Whee! Splat. Apparently that didn't quite work. The paladin putting cover on the dragoon again, and the dragoon just standing there getting chainsawed. It almost worked. Oh, it's funny. The dynamic duo of this entire alliance raid. It's just the dragoon that doesn't understand, and the paladin who tries so hard to keep them up. Oh. Uh-oh. Now we have roasted and sliced a black mage. It's really looking a lot like dinner. It's beginning to look a lot like dinner. We did it! Then we walk on him. A dessert of compassionate paladin. Hey Jeff, Matt! Hope you're doing well. in a few months it'll in a few months it'll have been like, I think we've been on Twitch as well for like 2/3 of a year, Jeff Matt. But yeah, I'm both places. Nox in party chat said, "Can I have the dress?" The caster dress. Oh boy, there's combat for the dress. And the rando wanted it. Well. Oh well. Not much you can do then. The one of the casters wanted it. Rather, casters wanted it, including the rando. I'm glad to hear that, Jeff, Matt. Thank you so much.
Laser turret. Blarg.
Fore and hind cannons. Our Dragoon is in Narnia? Oh yeah, he's over there. What was he doing in Narnia? Actually, Mistel, on that one, I'm like 99% certain that Butter Solist streams that challenge when they do it. So you could have seen it. Butter Solus is also the one that, if you've seen the end slate for my videos with the whiteboard and all that, that's Butters. Oh!
This one is mine. Take this. And that. Ow.
The Black Mage is having quite a day. Aww. The Dragoon didn't realize it was a safety shield. Well, they're really having a day. They're trying their hardest, I'm sure. We're not even close to skipping. Skipping what? The dual tanks? I mean, maybe it's a very lenient threshold. Man! That is definitely, that qualifies as bruh. That is definitely the bruh moment if there ever was one. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And... Oh wait, I don't need anything. Skip the dual tanks. Don't skip the second undock. I guess that could happen. Like, if it skips one whole extra phase where it could sneak in some damage, then maybe the skipping of the second undock gets really hard. I would also say I haven't paid close attention, but I have never noticed that the tank phase is skippable. Enjoy your evening, Mistle. Right, so big finale is Windurst. Windurst? If you'd like to come along for Windurst, get in here. Get in the pink square if you want to join for Windurst. See how many we are now. $12? I'm getting 12. How about... No, come back, Rust. What are you doing? Did you not want to come after all, Rust? Hello? Oh, okay. Then we need a 6-man team and a 5-man team. How about... Here's what I'm gonna do. Is, because, to switch things up a bit. I'll hand over leadership. And then I'll even make the second party myself. I've written down the names. However, I do believe... So you're 6 now and we're 5, yes? Think that should work? Yeah, I guess that works. Are we all for both teams in a group? We're 5. Is the other team 6? Yes. Okay. Car! Do a ready check. Car! Is the other team ready? Yep. 4:45. Which Dawntrail Alliance raid is your favorite? I feel like it's probably the first one for the fact that it was like the whole FF11 thing was more like exotic and new there probably helps a lot. But I also feel like the bosses were more how do I put it, the mechanics were more surprising in a way. But there is something really funny about the final boss of Windurst being the serious head, derp head Hydra meme. Like, you gotta hand it to them. That is pretty funny. And if you are enjoying the stream, it does help a lot. The like over on the YouTube side of things, so thank you so much in advance. You know, algorithms. Algorithms. You know what is really interesting about that, Jeff Matt, about the skipping in Shadowbringers is that I remember going from Shadowbringers to Endwalker noticing that the near raids took significantly longer to do suddenly now that we were in Endwalker. And a lot of people have noticed this and blamed it on, well, clearly they didn't scale it well enough when they did the stat squish with Endwalker. Now, I thought the same. But then Dawntrail came out, and strangely the same thing happened with the Endwalker Alliance raids. Which leads me to say, what actually happened is that who's doing Alliance raid roulette, it's less like when it is current content where you need the coins, there's probably a higher possibility that there are more higher skilled players doing it because they need the coin for the twine or the glaze or whatever. Whereas when it's just Alliance raid roulette and people are doing it because they landed there and there are probably more first timers and all that, that drags down the average performance a lot. That doesn't drag it down to a point where it's a problem, but it means the duty's gonna take longer. I thought that was interesting, and that would also explain why you're like, yeah, in Shadowbringers we were skipping the dual tank phase and all that, and then we basically don't see it until now. Because, I mean, most groups didn't have that kind of gusto to do that.
What's this? More vermin come to play? I'll put you down without delay.
Vermin? Excuse me? Lizard.
The renowned wizard and demon of the Federation. How has he conjured such a terrible echo?
I also just want to highlight that when I say that my favorite is probably the first one, that doesn't mean that the other ones are bad.
You've no recourse but to cower before my true power. Refuse to obey, and I'll make you pay. Before we're through, you'll learn there's nothing I can't do.
Have care. There's no telling what she'll conjure next. I fear we'll not survive this without powerful healing magics.
Really?
For my next feat, let's turn up the heat.
What are you plotting, witch?
You know, it just occurred to me.
I'm no saint, so don't expect restraint.
We didn't land in the same windows, did we?
My patience is through, and now so are you.
You only just popped. You know what confused me is that Agent Monica is here in Alliance C. But then I was like, wait a minute. Agent Monica wasn't queuing with any of us. Like, wait a minute. What?
Damn it. Is everyone all right?
No matter where you run, I'll still have my fun. Surrender, I'll allow, if you but give up now.
The comrade is down. We mustn't give up. Quickly, someone revive them.
Yeah, comrade is down, all right. A comrade is down. As you just hear. You know, funny you say that, Flims. I've never done that mechanic correctly. Every time I was just like, I'm not gonna go there. I'm just gonna knockback immune it. Like I do know how to do it. I've just been like, well, I'm not gonna do that. It's too far.
Too slow, I fear. You never stood a chance, my dear.
I think I've only done this as caster, so I guess this isn't a problem. I think when I've done it as caster, I've deigned to not move because it was Black Mage and I put down ley lines or something. And when I've been not caster, I've been paladin.
She was a doll.
You've proven a match for my magic doll. Perhaps you have merit after all.
Thank you.
By Altana. This looks like Artogan.
Boomit says, I thought her voice lines would get on my nerves with time, but I still love them the same. That's the spirit. I know others that don't really like the rhyming, that found her annoying from the
The enemy
start.
will soon be upon us.
I think next mental roulette you should do it in Shantoto voice and only rhyme. I can't. I'm not good enough at rhyming to do that. It would just be a very quiet stream. Team 2 got first timers. Man.
Reinforcements. And now the fight begins in earnest.
Does it? You know the fight begins in earnest when they send out a manticore. That's how you know. Divine authority for your fat lizard head. Not to be confused with my small lizard head.
Well, well. Look at all these adorable Roulettes. Come, dance with me, mortals.
Their leader has finally shown themselves.
Dance to dust. Boop. 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 Left shadow slash. Splat. And then she go roar. Fork. She grunt. There is some, to me there's something really funny about a creature like that using an ability called Bellowing Grunt. Oh. Oh. Like, I would have expected something like Bellowing Shriek or Scream or something, but Grunt?
Here the siege has ended. Where is Sorelja hiding? Are these not the undersea ruins of Al-Zadar? Can't be. The light divinity!
The light divinity.
Alexander, the meek shall be rewarded. The defiant shall be judged.
The defiant shall be
Alexander.
judged.
So we meet again.
Thy sin shall be cleansed by righteous fire.
Uh-oh. Blah, that's not fire. Come to think of it, that's not fire. That's laser beams. Does that count? Are we going with it's really hot, though, so...
How is it an echo can match the resilience of Alexander?
Yo, that laser's fire. Thy sin shall be cleansed by, yo, real fire lasers.
Offer thy worship, I shall burn away thy transgressions.
I think he's mad. He mad.
My divine flames shall melt thy flesh, sear thy bones, unshackle thy soul. Open thy eyes.
I thought I could make it. I couldn't make it. He mad. Oh yeah, that is indeed south. I had completely forgotten that I had positioned myself like at a 90-degree angle since the start by accident.
I'd expect nothing less of such a deity.
Yearn for immortality, sense thy transience, know thy insignificance.
That sounds pretty cool.
Still standing in the face of his judgment. Well done.
Oh hey, Demonica. Still standing in the face of his judgment. Stands next to corpse. About that.
A comrade is in trouble. Someone heal them. A comrade is down. Someone revive them.
Someone revive them. Well, don't lose hope just yet, Jeff Matt. We might just have a different... Uh-oh. A different commentary guy instead. Or maybe we won't. Who knows? Oh boy, half room cleaves. And there. And there. Ow. Wow.
Even the stalwart defenses of Alexander cannot stop us. I say we press on.
Hey, a 99. We got a 99.
The Garden of
Another
Roulette.
one. Got one
that
savagery
means-
clears as well. Really random aside, why is it that people mark the urns? Is it just to make sure that they're gotten rid of in an efficient way? Because I don't see any like specific reason why it would matter to focus them first. Ah, to make sure that people are actually attacking them and not the big man in the middle. I could see that. Like, that's actually pretty smart. Because I do not know how you would make people not attack Awan there in the middle. Like, the reason why I'm like, why does it matter? Is exactly because I'm like, I mean, you're gonna cleave the urns first, right? But I guess that in the brain off Zerg of an alliance raid, it's probably pretty likely that people will just see big guy and hit him.
That's the last of them. There is no foe Sorelja can conjure that I have not already vanquished.
Okay, Al-Shal.
The Twilight God?
How about a god?
Sorelja, you bastard. Your day
There's
dearly
nothing he
falls.
could conjure that I have not already vanquished. How about God? How about God?
We stand now.
You know, the
before
silliest
very
part
Father
about
of
that
creation.
is that
Hold nothing back.
it's Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy. So the answer's probably still, yeah, I did in fact vanquish that. But really?
What in the world? The emptiness threatens to spread.
The emptiness threatens to spread.
Lotus. Yeah, that also makes sense. It's just funny because I didn't notice anything that was like so scary when I did this raid the first time that it warranted like heavily focusing the urns. That's why I was or rather doing them in order. That's why I was surprised. But it makes sense to just kill them off one by one. That does make things easier. You know, the most impressive thing here is me basically completely goofing the movement for that whole mechanic and not getting hit.
Thine arrogant heart shall be mine.
The darkness. It's growing. This place is... It's been swallowed by the emptiness. The darkness of man's heart made manifest. No, I won't give in.
Thine own weakness
guess we'll be fine.
Altana, I beg your grace once more. So long as I hold faith in my comrades and they in me, darkness shall find no purchase in my heart.
How about sail?
Darkness.
It's taking the darkness into itself.
Oh, darkness.
Our farewell shall be forever.
The Twilight God could never. What has Serelja done?
That's a good question, Alshal. What has Serelja done? Wait, what? Huh? What happened to Alliance B? Like I see people saying danger, but was I really late? Ah. I guess I saw it really late. Like I looked at it like there's a healer alive. I'm guessing they just got rest.
A comrade is in trouble. Someone heal them.
Desire. Hunger.
The face transition killed most of them. Ah. Aha.
Careful, lest the darkness take you.
Oh my god, it's Goop! The god of the goop!
O star, descend from the heavens.
Oh, star! Oh.
Her fate decided.
And what is that fate then? Wheel of impregnability. I'll be over here. Oh, right, that's a circle AoE.
A comrade is down.
Oh.
Someone revive them.
Desire for the emptiness.
Desire for the emptiness. Splat.
Desire. Hunger for the end of
A
mortality.
truly mighty blow. The adventurers of your world are extraordinary indeed.
Wow, mechanic loop. We did it! Chipman says, by the way, thank you for not joining the world race. It would have been very boring to know who's going to win from the beginning. That's very, very nice. I have a feeling that it wouldn't be my team. But thank you. My team don't even have access to you, Matt, yet. We're still working on the prerequisite, unfortunately. But instead I'll be casting it, as I have been already. That's a big hat. Do we have a sage watching cutscene? I'm guessing so. Is a caster main now. And it says, on average, how much harder is ultimate than savage? Kind of depends on the ultimate and kind of depends on the savage.
Shinryu. Divine dragon that brought ruin to Vanadil's twin.
But a new ultimate is typically a lot harder than a new savage.
So, World Destroyer wouldn't be an exaggeration for this one. Well, that's just wonderful.
Exactly, Jeff Matt. This much. It's very difficult to quantify because of the way that they're kind of different, but one thing that makes ultimates a lot harder to progress is, like, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, and we talked about it very briefly. But right around when I came into cast, teams were dealing with trying to figure out what the first mechanic in phase 2 was. We're noting that they basically reached phase 2 within the first hour. And then they spent 2 hours where I was casting with Fruity Snacks and Ryla.
Never thought I'd see a god that'd get
getting basically nowhere. Basically getting nowhere.
After its resurrection.
Technically, I guess they did. They did get more consistently to fit. They got more consistent at the parts that they actually got. But they consistently got to phase 2 and immediately started dying. So basically we didn't really see anything. And they still haven't gotten to phase 3, and I mean this is 4.5 hours after I stopped casting. So basically
we cannot let it come to another.
Still nothing. But it can be like that sometimes. In fairness, it can be like that sometimes, that a particular mechanic is just that hard. And that can be the case on Savage as well. Oh.
Has Serelja finally prepared the vessel for his king?
If I recall correctly,
Did he just...
the cruel coil on M12S at phase 1. Oh, enjoy the cutscene out. Oh yeah, that I was confused what was happening. I was like, why is the cutscene not started yet?
It is mine to conquer, mine to rule forevermore. Oh, sacred flame from beyond.
I recall that cruel coil when people were proccing that initially in the world race. I believe the ones that got through phase 1, proccing the mechanics some of the fastest, was because they found ways to cheese the Cruel Coil so that they could see the next mechanic. And then, like, they'd just come back around to figure out how to do it once someone else had found a strategy. Seemed like was their plan. I don't know if that was actually their plan, but that seemed like it might have been their plan. That man says, who's doing the charity stream again? Mogtog. And it is for Games for Love.
You dare defy me!
I'll show! I'll show!
Don't you worry about me, Prish. I'll see this adventure to its conclusion.
You know, it is funny for such an odd name, Al-Shal, and I believe this is the only point in the story where they actually have, like, say his name in voiceover.
Word is absolute.
Like, they could have picked the name that was easier to scream. You can really, there's really like winners and losers on that mechanic. Oh, you have to just keep attacking. Ah, cool. You have to look at me. Ah, you don't say.
My word is absolute.
What? You good? I know you're dressed for the beach, but that's not. No.
Oh no! Someone's down. Can anyone revive them?
I have to keep moving, guys. Ah, shucks. Oh jeez. Oh man.
A truly mighty blow. The adventurers of your world are extraordinary indeed.
Truly mighty blow. Ow. 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 Hey. We did it. Oh, right, there's that too. Boomet says, and now the question is, has the Ulti release borked this or is it something else? Are we talking about the cutscene skip? Oh no, that was because the intermission starts with them like yoinking you towards a specific spot, like roughly, and then you get knocked down, and then the cutscene starts. But because of my particular position, I got yoinked into the hole. Thankfully, it placed me back on the arena. But because of that, I missed the, like, I wasn't available to receive the cutscene. That's what happened. It's actually not uncommon to see that. Like, specific fights where you can find ways, like, skip the cutscene by being occupied. So I think that was something that was already there and was just me. Oh yeah, I have a quest to hand in. And boom, that was all the singing clusters. No more clusters. And then over there, we can also pick up a relic another relic weapon upgrade from Dawntrail. What a day! Hello. What options do we have left? Reaper, Summoner, Astrologian. Let's do Reaper. Have you eaten your weekly tacos yet? Yeah, I remembered that. Just like half an hour before we had before my turn on the casting couch. So I like ran over and did it, and I was like, wait a minute, it's a weekly thing. I didn't have to hurry at all. Like, oh. Whoops. Oh well. Doesn't hurt. What's the 3 weekly rewards in Windurst? The coin, 1 loot. I believe... Let me just see the rewards. Scrolling on the chat log. By the way, Elaine, what were you apologizing for? Was the reason I fell in the hole because you yoinked me? Yeah, the third thing is that is 2 cracked Nova clusters. Well, that explains. I was like, I don't remember this happening, but I mean, it did make sense that I would get shoved somewhere. That man says the emote locked. The one from the Alliance raid is not locked. You can spam it until you get it if you want, or you could buy it. I'm guessing the emote from the taco stuff is from finishing it, so it'll be a few weeks. I'm pretty sure it was intentional, but Heliam apologized just the same. But yeah, I need like 2 more weapons upgraded, and then we're done with mathematics tomestones. Until the final step, where we presumably will need more. Or done. I could use it to upgrade crafted gear, which I just might. But we did it! We got some dailies done! We got some objectives done, apparently. Like, that's 2 daily weekly quests that I don't have to pick up anymore. But weirdly, I finished the singing clusters task before the Alexandrite task. I believe? Yeah. You need like way more. Ragnarok here says, I wonder how many relic weapons it will take before people start to miss tomestone relic farms after we lose tomestones. Well, I wonder what we get instead in that regard. Because how will all the old loot work without tomestones? Will we still have poetics? Hey, Shaman. Why aren't you world firsting? We haven't unlocked you, Matt. We haven't finished Savage. But the interaction I have had with the ultimate so far, Shaman, is that I was on the world first casting team earlier, so I'll be commentating over other people being epic. I also have a feeling that I would be pulling my hair out over that like it sounds like they're still stuck on the same mechanic that they were like 6 hours ago. Kind of. I'll be very excited to see if y'all have just been in on a joke and messing with me, and then they're like in phase 4 now. And then necrophits. Anyway, we got the dailies done. A little over time. Have you seen the new Kefka weapons? I have, yes. I have indeed. They look nice. Yeah. Close that. And then if you would like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link right there in the chat. There you'll find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming up in the coming days, usually updated Sunday or Monday. You also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams when I put them out. And if you grab the reminder roll in the role assignments room, you get a notification whenever I post a video stream, as well as an extra one about 15 minutes before stream starts, and you catch it right when we go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can like over on the YouTube side of things, you can follow, you can subscribe, you can super chat, you can cheer, you can become a member, and all of that goodness. And if you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-fi link out. I'll post it right there in the chat. It all helps support me and the channel directly, so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thanks so much for the support. But that'll be it from me tonight. So let's see just to raid someone. I'm gonna try and keep it going with not ultimate stuff, because there's plenty of ultimate stuff already. You'd know where to go if that's what you want to see, I'm sure. However, it might be difficult for me to find something that isn't ultimate. Let's check it on KG Lawless. Looks like he's doing some crafting. Thank you, Shaman. That's very kind. Now, that'll be it from me tonight. So, good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where in the world, and hope see you all very soon. Could be tomorrow, where I'll be casting again. Or in the afternoon for Grime. Bye-bye!